The road to Wrestlemania, a road that has often been described as long, treacherous, unpredictable, euphoric, and reeking of desperation. Everyone wants to wrestle at the show of shows. Everyone wants their name in the bright lights among the showcase of the immortals, but only a handful of superstars make it to the grandest stage. The question is, when times are looking bleak, how far are you willing to go to get what you want? After weeks of battling back and forth and trading verbal barbs as well as the physical kind, it was time for Elimination Chamber, where Infahel faced the Usos and VYBE in a triple threat elimination tag match for the titles. And after 40 minutes of a lesson in what superb tag team wrestling looks like, Infahel were crowned your new Raw Tag Team Champions. However, for as much as everything seemed all hellfire and rainbows in the Infahel camp, if you think this story is going to have a happy ending, then you haven't been paying close enough attention. Meanwhile, in the WWE Championship picture, things were heating up between Royal Rumble winner Brandon Collins and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, who were on a collision course to headline Wrestlemania. That is, if Brock Lesnar could outlast 5 other competitors inside the demonic structure. But before we would witness the carnage that is the Elimination Chamber match, Brandon Collins would have some choice words for the Beast incarnate.
I want you to listen to me, Brock, because this certainly isn't a prediction, it's a spoiler. Because ever since I won the Royal Rumble, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, which champion I wanted to pick, and so why waste any more time? I choose you. Or better yet, I should say I choose the WWE Championship you're clutching onto, because Elimination Chamber is this Sunday, and there's a great chance that you aren't even the champion this time next week on Raw. But even the most ferocious of beasts eventually gets slayed, and you are next on that list, Brock. Whether it be inside the chamber or at WrestleMania, it's wraps for you either way. So, if you make it to Raw next week as champion, come Mania, you're gonna learn real quick that you're in the era of the Spartan now, and I'm just allowing you to live in it.
All eyes were now on Brock Lesnar to retain the WWE Championship so the world could see the match they had been clamoring for. And in classic Lesnar fashion, he not only retained, but he dominated while doing so, sending a message to Brandon Collins in the process that if you come for the Beast, you best not miss. But these are shark-infested waters, and so it wouldn't take long for the Usos to confront the new champions, invoking their rematch clause for WrestleMania. But then, to everyone's surprise and honestly their amusement, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, would then call out Infahel for a rap battle, which led to Kane getting on the mic and spitting some bars surprisingly, and then the Usos fired back, and then Inferno jumped on the mic too. Man, it was crazy. So if you want to see the full rap battle in its entirety, then let's aim for 200 likes on this episode, and I'll drop the whole thing. VYBE's Nitro and AM certainly weren't done with their tag title pursuit either after their impressive showing at Elimination Chamber, and wanted to be living in a world where VYBE held all the gold after Mania. Interestingly, in an interview on WWE's The Bump, Caleb Braxton questioned Nitro on what he thought of Deonte Inferno's attitude after turning down VYBE's offer to join the group back at the Royal Rumble. Nitro responded saying he was impressed by Inferno then, and he's impressed by Inferno now, especially after the Chamber, but the battle lines have been drawn, and Inferno chose to stand on the wrong side of history, so he promises to crack his dome the next time they're in a ring together. It wouldn't take long for us to get a date on when that would be, as Adam Pearce gave VYBE a championship contenders match on the following edition of Raw, where Nitro, after a distraction from Aaron Matthews, would low blow Deonte Inferno and crack his dome just as he promised. Nitro and AM were going to WrestleMania, but interestingly our cameras picked up some audio as Nitro secured the 3 count, with him saying in Inferno's ear, quote, "You chose the wrong side of history once, don't do it again." The WWE Universe pondered what this could possibly mean, but VYBE refused to comment on the matter. In the long term, was this a meaningless piece of trash talk, or was it leading to something bigger than that? It was now WrestleMania week, and elsewhere in the MyCAREER Universe at this point in the timeline, Amber Van Syce and NXT Women's Champion Alexa Bliss were about to take on the Divas of Doom at Stand and Deliver in one of the most bizarre, fiendish, and downright disturbing storylines to date. But More on that side of our universe in just a few weeks. Simultaneously, as you now know, Leviticus was gearing up to have one hell of a weekend too. But speaking of hell, VYBE and the Usos were in for it, because what was originally a triple threat tag match was now a triple threat TLC match for the Raw tag titles at Wrestlemania. And if the go home show was any indicator, this was going to be one to remember. The final Raw before Mania opened up with a Brandon Collins and Aaron Matthews cheap shot assaulting Deonte Inferno. That is until a returning WWE Champion Brock Lesnar would come to his aid to save the Flame Sword. He would then hop on the mic, leading to something we never thought we'd see again. Hey, I hope your punk asses ain't gonna try pull this bullshit at Mania, because it certainly ain't gonna work against the Beast. I'll take on all three of you and still leave Mania with my title. But if y'all are itching for a fight, let's see. It's been almost 20 years since my last match on Monday Night Raw, so why don't we change all of that? Me and, what's your name, kid? Deonte Inferno? Yeah, I like that. Lesnar and Inferno against two of you goons tonight, and then Brandon, I'm gonna send you to Suplex City this Sunday at Wrestlemania. Well, that's just fine, but you got one detail wrong there, and it's that I ain't heading to Suplex City, but your prehistoric ass is certainly gonna feel the vibe. I'll give credit where it's due. You've been a dominant WWE champion and you've had a dominant career, but let's not forget, we're much similar than you realize. The amateur wrestling background? Check. Winning the Royal Rumble in my first attempt? Check. Winning the WWE Championship at my first Wrestlemania? Well, this time next week we're about to be saying check, because I always have something up my sleeve and you're never gonna see it coming. That's real cute, kid. You got yourself a little catchphrase, but you're gonna be in for a reality check this Sunday, because no matter how good you think you are, it still ain't gonna be enough to beat me. And for the first time since the early 2000s, Brock Lesnar would compete and of course be victorious on an episode of Raw in a thrilling tag match alongside Deonte Inferno over VYBE. But would this be a precursor of things to come on Sunday, or would Brandon's prophetical and ominous comment about having something up his sleeve mean something more than what he was letting on?
A light unto my dark
Wrestlemania, Night 2, Dallas, Texas, a night that we would not soon forget for more reasons than one. But first, we would open the show with a triple threat TLC match for the Raw Tag Team titles.
Now there is no forever, habits will fade away. So laugh at every day you get, don't let it go to waste. So if your life is fleeting from the shadow of a doubt, we'll light the sky with the Inferno. We'll keep marching right until our fire's burning out.
This was a fight to remember. This was a fight that truly lived up to the expectations of a WrestleMania TLC match, but in the end, love 'em or hate 'em, VYBE were your new champions. But as they celebrated and headed to the back, it was quite the opposite for Inferno, who was clearly frustrated and made no intentions of hiding it as he shoulder barged past Kane. Perhaps questioning whether or not it was a good idea to get into a tag team again so soon after what happened between him and Matt Riddle in NXT a year ago. Were the cracks finally starting to show within Inferno's dome? Were VYBE finally seeping into the psyche of Deonte Inferno?
So if your life is fading from the shadow of a doubt, we'll light the sky with the Inferno.
We would also see a backstage segment within the VYBE locker room where the vibes were as high as you'd expect. Say what you will about the way they conduct business, but these boys were a brotherhood, and they were on fire like a scorching Inferno, showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. But perhaps a man, no scratch that, a beast in Brock Lesnar that could slow down the momentum of the Earth's rotation if he really wanted to, had other ideas, because it was time for the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, Lesnar versus Royal Rumble winner Brandon Collins for the WWE Championship. This is what the world had been waiting for. With the referee inadvertently knocked down just moments before, Lesnar had just hit an F5 on Brandon Collins, but had collapsed due to the exhaustion of this war which he had engaged himself in. There was no one to count the pin when a previously frustrated Flamesword in Dante Inferno came sprinting to ringside. The crowd erupted. Was this the payoff? Was Inferno finally about to get his revenge for the Royal Rumble, for the months of terrorizing on Monday Night Raw and the events of merely hours ago? Was he about to stick it to VYBE on the grandest stage? Dante Inferno, just as we've seen him do many a time before, was setting up for the Inferno overdrive on a groggy Brandon Collins no less, when the unthinkable happened. Inferno overdrive to Brock Lesnar, then proceeding to drag Brandon Collins' lifeless carcass on the top of Brock as the referee came to consciousness.
This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They give you the go with the sickness. This is a war. This is a war.
The world stunned. The universe shocked. The plan masterminded by one Brandon Collins, your new WWE Champion. Holy you know what chants reigned around AT&T Stadium as the new Raw Tag Team Champions made their way to ringside. Matthews, Nitro, Collins, Inferno, stand tall to end Wrestlemania. Did Inferno just turn his back on the WWE Universe and sell his soul to the devil? Was Inferno now a member of VYBE? Was it supposed to go this way all along? Find out next time on the MyCAREER Universe.
This is a war.